I decided to start this new series to discuss some of my more interesting, and I use that term loosely, dates. Because people think, you have some crazy dating stories and we want to hear them all. I don't know if I can remember all of them, but I will tell you the ones that I do remember in this new series as I recall them. And I'm sure you'll get a few good laughs. It's good for me because it takes me back into my youth, and actually some of it's not so youthful, but um, yeah, it should be interesting and give you a little more insight into some of the situations that made me the person that I am. So this is way back. I don't know how old was I? About 19, 20, and I was working part time at this law firm, and one of my coworkers comes to me. She's a little young white girl, and she says, "Oh, one of my roommates, he's come here to pick me up a couple of times, and he's seen you, and he really wants to take you out. He really wants to take you out." I'm like, "Oh, is that right?" So I told, well, what's dude all about, this and that. So he was a little older than her. He had a nice job working in construction or something, and so he was making a little change, and I was like, well, why not? I didn't really have anything else to do, and see, my thing is I like to like dudes who like me. So I told her to tell him to call me, and that we would go out. So he calls me. Oh my God, this poor little thing. He was so excited, and he asked me where I wanted to go. So there's this place in San Francisco that I really used to like called Basta Pasta, and he says, that he would take me there. I said, okay. So, I'll meet you down there. I don't, you're not going to pick me up at my parents' house or nothing because my father is stupid and I really wasn't trying to be, showing anybody his ignorance at that point. So I meet the guy down at the Basta Pasta down in North Beach area of San Francisco. And okay, keep in mind this is a blind date. I mean, he had seen me before, but I had never seen him. And the girl that I worked with had, you know, deftly avoided really telling me too much about what he looked like. Now, I figured if he did construction, he couldn't be, too weak or anything, because usually guys who do construction are kind of, they kind of have some muscles. So he did have that. He had a very nice body. He was about 6'2". I liked that. The problem with dude was he was so white, and I don't mean white because I don't have a problem with white dudes. I don't really care. You like me, I like you. That's my motto. Dude was so white that his hair was so blonde that it was almost translucent. His eyelashes, same thing. Eyebrows, same thing. Um, I just was looking at him and it was like he was just this side of being an albino. I mean, that's how fair skinned dude was. Okay, I don't know about you. I mean, I need you to have a little bit of something, a little bit of tint, a little bit of tan, something. You got to have something going on that looks a little bit on the shade side. So I was looking at him, but he was so happy to see me. I mean, it was just really hard to be critical because he was just so excited. So we go into the restaurant and we sit down, and he was actually, very well read, very well traveled young man. He'd been in the Navy, and from the time he was, 18 to whatever, I think he said 4 years or 5 years, whatever. So he was like in his late 20s, and he it was like whatever you want, right? So we tried escargot. That was my first time eating snails. And, we got, I mean, everything I wanted, he ordered it. Some stuff he even ordered that I didn't want just because he thought that I might like it. I mean, he just went all overboard. The other thing he did was he came to the date with a dozen red roses. And, so I mean, he was spending money like from day one. He was just so excited. And that none of that was really the problem. We had a really nice date. Had a really nice time with him, but like I said, I was really struggling with that, that lack of melanin issue with dudes. I mean, at least if his hair had been brown or something, he had been a little, I probably would have been able to deal with him because he was so sweet. He was so kind, so generous, and just really into me. But, there's no denying that a woman must be attracted to a man. I mean, there's just no way around it. And if you're not attracted to him, it doesn't matter all these other things because it's still not going to work. So he decides that we left there, and he decides he wants to take me home. So I'm kind of scared now because I know we're gonna be coming up on my daddy, and I'm thinking this might not be a good idea. So we park a little bit down from my house, and we're sitting in the car talking, and then he decides he's gonna kiss me. Now, in spite of the fact that he was not, okay, dude didn't really have any lips. I've never kissed anybody that had like them little itty bitty teensy little slit lips like that. I was like, huh? It was like kissing a chimpanzee or something. I couldn't really get into it. I couldn't do it. Like I said, I was really wrestling with myself because he met my checklist as far as everything else, as far as how he treated me, how he thought of me, um, what he would do for me. I mean, the princess treatment was there. He'd waited so long to get this date. I mean, everything that I would usually look for in a guy was there, but there was absolutely no attraction to him on that level whatsoever. He was fully attracted to me. I don't need to go into details there. I'm sure you can fill in the blanks, but I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. And it made a very strange, strange situation at work on Monday because, he was blowing up my phone the rest of the weekend until I finally told him, that it was a nice date, but I just couldn't really see myself with him. And the girl who hooked us up, she was really mad at me because she like, thought I broke his heart and everything, and it really wasn't intentional. I didn't mean to, but I could not deny the fact that I was not the least bit attracted to him in a sexual way. There's just no way that was going to, that part of the relationship was going to jump off the way he wanted it to, in spite of all the wonderful qualities he had and the wonderful traits that he possessed and the great way that he treated me. There must be both in a relationship. There's got to be both, and that part was missing. So that little potential relationship, I mean, that could have very well ended up being the man that I married if only his hair were brown. Because other than that, I really had no complaints about him. There was nothing that he did wrong. I mean, he was just like an excellent date, just perfect in every way except for that. And there's nothing he could do to change that. I wasn't going to condemn him for it, but I wasn't going to, involve myself in a deception with him, pretending to like him more than I did, because that's not fair to him, and neither is it fair to me. And I just thought that it would be better to cut it off after the one date than, drag the shit out and get his hopes up. That would just be cruel, and that would be unnecessary. So that I'm telling you this story first in the dating series because I think it's the one that I think about the most as I reflect on my dating history, wondering, what would have happened if, and if I was different, if my standards were a little bit more flexible, if he'd only had brown hair. But anyway, this is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com with the first of the new series on my dating disasters and how they turned out. I think a lot of them will be a lot more entertaining than this one. This one kind of is an introspective one that, like I said, I think about a lot and wonder, if I'd been different in my mind, if he'd been, what might have happened. There's a lot of possibilities there. Who knows? Anyway, I will be back with another video tomorrow. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.